Congratulations on making the smart decision to charter a jet for the first time. Here at Business Jet Traveler, we want to make sure that you feel comfortable and are asking the right questions when you make that first phone call to figure out who is going to fly you on your first flight.
So the very first point to be crystal clear on is exactly where are you going, who is traveling with you, how many people, how much baggage might those people have, and in your group, are there people who need special help? A young child, for example, who needs a safety seat, or perhaps an elderly relative who's traveling with a wheelchair. Communicate to the operator exactly where you're going, what your end destination is. Don't assume that you know what the most convenient airport might be for that trip.
And number two, but Charlie, definitely most important, is how do we ensure that the flight you're going to be chartering is as safe as can be and also legal?
So you want to be really clear that the company that's going to be flying you is legally qualified and entitled to do that. Think of it this way. If you were moving your family around on the ground, you wouldn't just hail any car on the street and put them in a stranger's car without understanding that they were a properly licensed taxi service or rideshare service. And the best way you can do that in the aviation world is to ask whether the operator has a Part 135 certificate, and in fact, ask to see that certificate. What a Part 135 certificate tells you is that the operator is approved by the FAA to operate a service safely, meaning the aircraft itself is safe, the pilots who fly it have a suitable level of experience to be safe. And if you ask to see that Part 135 certificate, all of those questions are effectively answered and your mind's put to rest. But over and above that, the private aviation industry has extra ways to reassure you that the highest possible safety and quality standards are being offered. And this is called the audit process. There are companies like Wyvern and Argos who will do thorough audits on operators, their employees, their crews, checking that all the right insurance is in place, checking that all the right maintenance has been done. And if you pick an operator who's been audited in that way, really, you can have complete peace of mind.
When you are chartering an airplane, do not do it based on cost. You should not be starting out looking for the cheapest flight. Having said that, once you've established that the provider you are using is Part 135 and completely safe and secure, by all means you should be asking about the invoice. What's included, what's not included, where could there be extra expenses that you would be billed for after the fact?
So when you're pricing out a trip, typically an operator is going to give you a flat rate for the journey that you're going to make based on the number of flight hours involved in getting there. And when you get that price, you then need to ask, okay, what's included in that? Is the catering, is the food included that I'm going to eat? Is the use of Wi-Fi on the aircraft included, or could I get an extra bill for that? If I go to a certain airport that's more expensive than some other place, might there be extra landing fees, for example? And if the weather's really cold in midwinter and the aircraft has to be de-iced, am I going to be charged extra for that, or would that be included? You need to get clear on all of that so that when you get the final invoice, there aren't any nasty surprises.
The fourth question you need to ask is, what happens if something goes wrong with your flight? If your flight is canceled for any reason, there's a mechanical problem, there's a weather issue, what happens? Does the charter company send you another aircraft? If they send you a larger aircraft, will you get charged extra? Make sure you ask that question.
So the final point is that private aviation's a wonderful thing, and to get the most from it, it's so important that you ask these questions. There are no stupid questions in this situation. In fact, by asking them, you come across as a smart and a well-informed traveler. And a quality aircraft operator should want to answer your questions respectfully and comprehensively.
And we have answers to all of these questions and more at bjtonline.com. There you will find everything about aircraft, everything you need to know about charter, and much, much more.